Hopefully you're now live, that I wasn't too much mumbling beforehand. Welcome to the Contrarian Capitalist. Thank you for joining me today. It's just gone past 12 o'clock here over in Mexico City. Plenty to discuss. We're going to look at broken Britain striking again. We're going to look at debts as well. Also, then we will be looking at Trump versus Putin on Friday. What could potentially happen? Maybe the things that don't happen might be more important than the things that do happen. First of all, just a couple of bits of housekeeping. The podcast with Justin Hoon, Uranium Insider, that's now available and live to everyone. The podcast episode with Ben Kelleran of Contrarian Corner, so that's Contrarian meets Contrarian, that's available to paid subscribers at present. That's going to be released later on in the week. There's also a couple of other podcasts lined up with a independent commodities analyst, Ted Butler, later on in the week, and Peter Krauth as well. We're scheduled to do that tomorrow. As always, paid subscribers will get early access, as I just turned that light on because the light is bad. Paid subscribers get early access to all of the podcast recordings. Also, massive thank you. The channel reached over 3,000 free subscribers recently. That's an absolute honor. 12 months of hard work paying off. So it's good to see the channel growing. Again, a massive thank you for subscribing. If you're yet to do so, then please do so. So looking at Broken Britain, there's so many things that we can do. And I'm looking at something that I can read at the moment. And the other day in East London, there was some, as they've classed, vigilante tube passengers, or people on the underground or subway, if you're from other parts of the world. And they're facing an arrest over an assault of a naked person. So in effect, this migrant was on the tube or on the underground. He decided, for some reason, I don't know why certain people like doing this, decided to drop his trousers and pants in public. So he was completely naked from the waist down. And apparently with quite a few women and children on board the tube as well. He started doing whatever he was doing. And then some videos have surfaced over passengers, or vigilantes as they've been described, really tackling him to the ground, and in the next station basically dragged him off the train. Now you might think, actually, Rob, that sounds good. Well done to the tube passengers. That was my initial reaction. I thought, well done, that's good. You know, we've got to get to the point where we would do some self-policing. Arthur, I can see a question. I'll get back to that in a bit. Where we need to do some self-policing. But of course, note, in Broken Britain nowadays, the British Transport Police are now looking for the people that assaulted the naked man on the tube, and not necessarily the naked man himself. So I think that this just goes hand in hand with what Ben Kelleran and I discussed the other day, where we are seeing a lot of disconnect. We are seeing a lot of, yes, immigration, migration issues as well. Now with them can come some religious issues as well. But we are seeing, or people are getting to the point where they've had enough. And if people have had enough, they will then take things into their own hands. Now, it doesn't help with two-tiered policing. It doesn't help in a two-tiered police state either. The second article is a Labour member of Parliament, a gentleman called Ricky Jones. He was on camera basically saying that anyone that's right-wing, and I'm paraphrasing this, anyone that's right-wing deserves to have their throats cut. And this is a member of Parliament for the Labour Party, a member of Parliament for the United Kingdom. And he has, of course, he has played the race card in his court case. And I don't know what the exact sentence is. I don't have it on me. Anyway, he's got off lightly. So in a nutshell, we're in a country, the United Kingdom at the moment, where if you are tweeting mean things against the government, you're going to get put in jail for a lot longer than inciting hatred and the killing of other people, especially if you're a politician. So this is one of the key arguments at the moment, and it's not just in the UK. I appreciate that there's going to be a lot of issues around the world. And again, Ben Kelleran and I discussed that. He obviously has quite a US-centric view. I, of course, have a very UK-centric view. We discussed that in our recent episode. But people are starting to get to the point where they've had enough. People will start taking it into their own hands. And again, that there is pros and cons for that. I think these are two very good examples. Again, we have migrants here on the tube network in London dropping their trousers in front of all passengers. So again, children, females, not good. He gets kicked off the train as a result of some tube passengers standing up for everyone else. And of course, then it's tube passengers that are more than likely going to get prosecuted for assault rather than the migrant getting done for indecent exposure. And again, that Labour member of Parliament who openly called for right wingers to have their throats slit, again, has played the race card and has, again, I don't have the sentence in front of me, but I'm looking at the reaction on X. Yeah, he's got off quite lightly. So again, if you tweet naughty things against the government, you're going to get put into jail. If you incite hatred and violence, you'll be absolutely fine. So if you're in the UK, thumbs up on that. What doesn't help, I touched upon this last week as well, is bills are going up. Bills are going up because of energy policy. Government policy is not good in general. We're seeing more hatred, more discontent amongst people. And this is just in the UK. So it's really not good. It's really not good at all. We have got, just looking at this post from my friend James Melville, national debt on interest payments in the UK is 100 billion a year. The Chagos deal, which is handing back land to Mauritius, which apparently was going to cost 3.5 billion pounds, and of course the land apparently is now costing 35 billion a year, or 35 billion for that deal to be done. So again, that's 10x on the budget. Net zero is costing 30 billion a year. Apparently the UK sends 3 billion over to Ukraine a year. Carbon capture machines, 30 billion pounds have been spent so far. I mean, the answer to that is trees. They do the same job. Overseas climate aid apparently is 11.6 billion a year. The list goes on. I'll make sure I copy and paste or put a link to that in the post that comes with the Substack. So rather than me just ranting on, the underlying thing here is that more and more people are becoming annoyed, upset, and very angry at how things are working around the world at the moment. And I'm sure no matter where you are listening to this from, you have similar experiences in your own country. It's just I'm able to talk about the UK a bit more in depth because that's where I'm from. If we look at debts as well, and again, just going back to my friend James Melville there, and again, this is a UK thing, trillion with 2.7 trillion in debt. We are going to be fast approaching 3 trillion. What doesn't help is when we have a black hole in the finances that before Labour took over, they said was 22 billion pounds, and they blamed it on the Conservatives. They're probably right to do that in all fairness. But in the last 12 months, it's been Labour only in charge. They have a majority in Parliament, and that magical 22 billion pounds has now become a 41 to 50 billion black hole. So congratulations, they've effectively doubled and then some the financial challenges in the short term. And they've only got themselves to blame on this occasion. So, as I always say, and I always do a little plug for the metals, plug for gold, plug for silver, plug for platinum. If you are concerned that your central bank or your government, whomever, is going to start printing a lot more currency, so your pound coins in this case, or euros or US dollars, what's going to happen is that's going to devalue that currency. And as that devalues that currency, in turn, the price of gold, the price of silver is going to go up. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go up in a straight line. Obviously, silver has a lot more industrial uses that we're aware of nowadays than it did back in the 1700s. But certainly gold. Gold's in the league of its own. So if you're concerned that your government, your central bank are going to start printing more currency units in order to get themselves out of these financial situations that they're in, then in order to protect yourselves, again, not a financial recommendation, I would strongly suggest you have a look at gold, have a look at silver as well. These are going to be the things that save you, I think, moving forwards. This is what I do in my spare time as well. It's about getting out of that financial tyranny. Another thing about getting out of the financial tyranny is also had a tax bill come through this morning that I wasn't very happy about. It is probably likely to be the last time I am paying taxes to the UK as well. By the way, this is the same HMRC that are also asking for me to make payments on account for the 25-26 tax year. So the 25-26 tax year, All right, it runs from April to April here in the UK. They are asking me to pay a few £1,000s on payment for the tax year of 25-26. And of course, if the tax year is April to April, we're sat here in August. It's only been about 4 months. They are asking for me for that cash up front. No, is what I say to that. Absolutely not. I already have a good plan in place, but I need to become even more tax efficient as well. By the way, it's not it was a tax bill that I was expecting because of the work I was doing last year. So it's not caught me by surprise, but again, not happy with the amount and certainly not happy that they're asking me to make a payment on account for the tax year that we are in at the moment. If you're concerned about debt, again, on a national level, gold, silver, please do have a look at that. You will probably do quite well with platinum as well, I imagine, moving forward. If we look at the other big news article from this week, and again, it's geopolitics. Trump's name is always in the news, whether you like him or loathe him. But the key thing to watch out for this week is that he is meeting with Vladimir Putin. I nearly got his name wrong. Vladimir Putin in Alaska on Friday. Now, I'm not getting too carried away by this. I think that we could talk ad nauseum about what is discussed, what is not discussed, what is likely to be discussed, what's not going to be discussed. Anything can happen on Friday. I'm not going in with an expectation that the world is put to rights and that everything is sorted. If that were to happen, that'd be great. Hands up, that'd be lovely. But certainly, I am just going to wait and see what happens moving forward. No doubt they are going to talk about Ukraine. And I believe the White House came out today and said this is a listening exercise for Trump. That I'd love to be a fly on the wall on Friday. That'd be absolutely superb. But ultimately, they're going to discuss Ukraine. They will probably discuss other things as well. I imagine natural resources, trade, all of these sorts of things. Now, whatever your political views are of the USA, whatever your political views are of Russia, this hasn't gone down too well in Europe because, of course, most of Europe, dislikes Russia. Russia is the enemy. I've long said that's not the case. I've long said it's a NATO problem. NATO started everything, therefore it's NATO's issue. But I'm not going to get into the whole gaslighting thing here. The key thing is that on Friday, the 15th of August, President Trump, Vladimir Putin are going to be meeting in Alaska. They will discuss a lot of things. Apparently, Zelensky is either able to listen in or is invited because they're going to be talking about Ukraine. The rest of the EU is not invited. I think that if they do some form of land deal, that would be very interesting to see. But again, I'm not going to hypothesize on every scenario. Let's wait and see what happens. Last week, just going back to a couple of bits of housekeeping before we have a quick look at the markets, of course. So a couple of changes were made to the newsletters last week. So what was the weekly wrap and the weekly open, they've changed their name. So what was the weekly wrap, which comes out on a Friday, is now the commodity wrap. That's going to focus on commodities. Again, full chart deck, extra commentary, a bonus audio when I can. So the Friday newsletter is going to be a commodity wrap. And what was the weekly open is still going to be out on a Sunday, but it's going to be called the market wrap. And that's going to look at things such as the major indices around the world. It's going to look at things like the Dixie, the VIX index, high yield junk bonds, and also it enables me to provide a geopolitical commentary of things that are going on around the world as well. So there are still two newsletters a week. The weekly or commodity wrap, is on a Friday after market close, and the market wrap is going to come out on a Sunday morning, Mexico City time. The other reason for the change in time is it allows more people to read if you get a chance to read on a Sunday. It also allows people to prepare for the week ahead. But secondly, and again, I've said this before, Peter Schiff, he doesn't even record podcasts, I believe, on Sundays when NFL season is on. I'm acutely aware that a lot of listeners, a lot of readers to the Contrarian Catalyst are from the United States of America. NFL season is starting. Therefore, I thought moving the time forward would benefit everyone. So that's the other reason for that change. So we've looked at Britain, we've looked at all the issues that are in the United Kingdom at the moment. I'm sure there are very similar things in the rest of Europe and, of course, the United States as well. I'd recommend that or you can listen to the podcast with Ben Keller, and now it is available to paid subscribers, or do listen to it when it comes out to everyone else later on in the week. We do talk a lot about that, and I should be appearing on Contrarian Corner moving forwards. And I'll just bring up a quick snapshot of the markets. Again, I'm recording this just after midday Mexico City time on 12th of August. So it's going to be evening time or night time in Europe. And it is also just gone 2 p.m. Eastern if you are on the Eastern time frame. So if we look at the markets as I move this, I'm just on the daily, but I'm going to bring that forward. So we are seeing, let's have a look. Yeah, it's green galore by the looks of it. So we've got the S&P 500 at 64.40 at the moment. That is up 54 points on the week, just under 1%. Again, all new time highs at present. The same with the Nasdaq, 215 points up, around 23,830 at the moment. And again, all new time highs. I've long said the Dow Jones is destined for an all new time high. At the moment, it's about 600 points off. It's around 44,500 at present. The VIX index itself, so the thing that measures volatility in the S&P 500, that continues to slide. So again, that's down at a rating of 14.72, which indicates lower than expected market volatility. And the dollar index had a bounce back a couple of weeks ago. Last week was a red candle. This week, it's down ever so slightly, 0.18. So it's currently around the 98.08 mark as we speak. Again, I imagine not just with US data and CPI or CPI or who knows what the numbers are, because if people are getting fired for posting bogus numbers or playing with the numbers, who are we to know what is actually right and wrong at the moment? Point being that those numbers could have an impact on the stock markets moving forward. I imagine that Friday's meeting, of course, is going to play a massive part, if not on Friday, but certainly over the weekend. Looking at commodities, looking at gold futures, gold's actually down on the week, about $50. It's trading at $33.50. Again, looking at the chart, it's been about 11 or 12 weeks now of a sideways trading. It's gearing up for something big. I don't know whether it's going to be a black swan event or it's just going to be part of the bull market continuation, but it is gearing up for something. $4,000, as I've said before in the newsletter, wouldn't surprise me at all. Ultimately, I think it's going to go much higher than that. Looking at silver futures, again, they're down on the week, down about 40 cents, which is about 1%, trading at 37.93 at the time of recording this. Again, a lot of shenanigans, of course, in the paper market there over in silver. But ultimately, if you are acquiring physical silver and you are looking at a more long-term point of view, then again, these price fluctuations shouldn't really bother you. And of course, if you are dollar cost averaging or euro averaging in, then hey ho, happy days. You're probably going to benefit from this moving forwards. Quick look at platinum. Platinum lease rates are over 24%. So basically, people are trying to play around with the LBMA and the COMEX as well. This is in effect sending a warning signal to the platinum market. Platinum is 30 times rarer than gold. It trades only about 180 tons, I believe, a year, give or take. It is a very thin market. So if there's any issues with demand and supply, that's going to be reflected in the price. At the moment, platinum last week was up, and this week is up as well. It is up 1.1% on the week, about $15, trading at $13.40 at the time of recording. And just have a quick look at palladium. Palladium normally likes to follow platinum. It didn't last week, but so far this week, again, it's up about $13.50, 1.21%, trading at $1,130 at the time of recording. We're going into a strong season now for gold anyway. Again, August, September tend to be quite strong. October tends to cool down a little bit, sometimes the start of November, and then really from November into January is quite a strong season for gold. So, as I've always said, and always be very clear on this channel, if you are looking to buy precious metals and you are looking to take a long-term position with regards to gold, with regards to silver, and even with regards to platinum, then the chances are you're going to be fine. You don't really need to worry about what the price is doing on a day-to-day basis. If, however, you are trying to trade the markets, and again, I don't make financial recommendations, again, just keep your eyes open, be very cautious with what's going on, and do bear in mind that gold is coming into its more stronger seasonality period. I should quickly mention the tariffs. There were tariffs put on, then tariffs might not have been put on. Ultimately, the 39% tariffs on kilo bars and 100-ounce bars as well. Again, they were put on, then not put on. Everyone's getting different messages at the moment. Ultimately, it doesn't make a difference. If it's been done to help traders get a bit of profit, fine, so be it. I accept that these things happen. But ultimately, the damage has already been done. From a financial point of view, the damage has already been done. We've got unsustainable debts. We've got chaotic governments in control throughout the majority of the world. I cite the United Kingdom, as we mentioned at the start of this video. So if any of these tariff announcements or non-tariff announcements are designed to move the needle, then so be it. But the financial damage has been done a long time ago. And if we get to the stage where we have a very gnarly recession and things really, really go off a cliff, people will rush into gold. People will rush into silver. And just that retail demand alone is going to send the price much higher. So, again, not a financial recommendation, but if you're yet to take a position in gold and a position in silver, I'd be looking to acquire physical. Now, you can keep it around your home if you want, or you can use a bullion dealer to store it. Completely up to you. There are pros and cons to both. But in the long run, you are more than likely going to benefit from a much higher increase in gold and silver prices, platinum as well. Again, if you're looking to trade, just be careful. Always put your stop losses in. Have a trailing stop loss if you want. And do just remember that if you are trading and on the gold, then we are coming into strong season. That's not a guarantee it's going to go up. Again, I only say 4,000 because it's, to me, sounds like the next logical target. We will see what happens. I did mention after DR, I will go back to your question, so I'll quickly answer your question. What will you estimate if US would IPO UAP UFO for supporting the dollar? I'm actually not 100% sure what you mean by that, but I will go over the dollar thesis. I believe the dollar is going to go much lower in the future. It is part of government policy at the moment. They believe that they need and want, and I believe that they need and want a lower dollar. So therefore, if you have a lower dollar, as Trump said a few weeks ago, a strong dollar sounds good, but if you have a weaker dollar, then you can make a lot more money. I'm paraphrasing, but that's roughly what he said. So I think the dollar's going to go a lot lower. I wouldn't rule out a surprise to the upside if it got a bit stronger in the short to medium term. I wouldn't rule that out just from a sheer contrarian point of view. But they've been quite clear with the direction of the dollar, I think the US have. The other thing, and I will write about this towards the end of August, the other thing that the USA have been very clear about what they are going to do is revalue the amount or the price of gold. They've been very clear about this. I put a screenshot in a recent newsletter. I will write an article towards the end of August about this, but it is there in clear writing that when certain current things have finished, they will be reissuing gold certificates at a new price level, so at a fair market value. I believe that's how it's termed in the document. And as we discussed earlier on, the futures are currently at 3,350. At the moment, on the balance sheet of the United States, gold is valued at $42.22 an ounce. There is a massive difference there. Ultimately, it will likely just be an accounting procedure. Is there gold at Fort Knox? I have no idea. I like to believe there is, but it wouldn't surprise me if there isn't. I'm not sure we're ever going to know, is the honest answer to that. But the point being that if gold is revalued, it could have a lot of knock-on effects. That's the point of that article. I will write that article for the end of August. So do keep your eyes out on the Substack for that. As always, thank you very much for listening. If you're yet to subscribe to the Contrarian Capitalist, then please do so. It is easy to become a free subscriber. I will put a button in on the post that comes with this, or just visit contrariancapitalist.substack.com. If you would like to take the step up and become a paid member, then that would be absolutely great. It starts at $9.17, I think, a month. And for that, you're going to get access to between 8 to 10 newsletters, the mid-month macro and the end-of-month macro videos that are recorded with Chris Stedley of LifeSquat Commodity Corner. You're also going to have access to all of the expert interview podcasts. They always go out to paid subscribers first before being released to the general public. And as mentioned, that starts at $9.17 a month. If you just go for the regular monthly, I believe it's $11. So again, for the price of a couple of cups of coffee, I would say it is fantastic value as well. Of course, if paid subscribership isn't for you, I understand there is going to be a button moving forward in most posts that gives you the opportunity to buy CC a coffee. So again, if you want to show a different way to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee. I do quite like coffee. And again, a massive thank you in advance for doing that. You can also become a founding member, which is a one-off lifetime investment. And again, I'll put a button to all of that in the post that comes with this video. Thank you in advance for becoming a free subscriber, a paid subscriber, even a founding member, and of course, buying a coffee. We've got some fantastic interviews lined up for the rest of the week. Again, a big thank you for helping the channel go over 3,000 subscribers on Substack and also 1,100 subscribers over on YouTube as well. It's an honor to be able to do this. Please allow me to serve you at a higher level by, again, going deep diving into the newsletters and the podcast as well. Have a fantastic week, and I'll be back with podcasts this week. Also be back with the commodity wrap on Friday after the close. Take care, keep safe, see you soon.